Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Amyshazlianna Binti Suhaimi and my Matrik number is 2022828494. So today I will present about my study, which is Mercury to Galinstan alloy that transforming powerful material for sustainable future. So from the predictable, the element that I choose is come from group 12 at period 6, which is Mercury. And also, we can see that the symbol for Mercury is Hg and the atomic number is 80. Based on the history, Mercury is a chemical element that found in the Earth's crust, which is mineral cinnabar. As we can see from the video, the characteristic is look like really strong red color and pretty easy to the spot. The mineral will depend on the condition, but sometimes it can also form very nice crystal. Second is symbol of Mercury is Hg and it comes from the Latin word which is hydrargyrum, that meaning of liquid silver. And the third is Mercury is a unique transition metal because the condition in a liquid at room temperature with silvery white color that giving a shiny and glossy appearance. Also, that mirror-like surface when viewed in a small quantities or in a container. And the last one is Mercury is due to high surface tension because when a drop, elemental mercury breaks into a smaller droplet. It is because on the surface tension, mercury does not spread out like the water. Next is properties of mercury. They are divided by two categories. So for the first physical properties, it has a density around 13.6 grams per cubic centimeter. So based on my research, mercury has a higher density than water. And the second is mercury has a lower melting point, which is negative 38.9 Celsius, which means it turns from a liquid into a solid at this temperature. And the third is mercury has a boiling point around 359.9 Celsius. And for the last physical properties of mercury is mercury is a very unique and precious metal. It is because it looks in liquid at room temperature. Other than that, the chemical properties of the mercury is a very bad metal because it has a higher toxicity. As example, when thermometer that include mercury was broken up, it can cause health problem because the characteristic of mercury is easily vaporized. And secondly, mercury is good in electrical and thermal conductor. And the third is mercury is not soluble in water because the mercury is a very high density. And the lastly is mercury is low reactivity with air and water because mercury does not corrode easily in dry air or pure water, while in a moist air it slowly forms mercury oxide on the surface. Next is application. Actually, mercury has a variety of application, but I choose two types of application that need more focus in this study. So the first application is thermometer. Thermometer is a common type that we use in the laboratory, and the purpose that we use is to measure the temperature. Mercury will rise up or drops when the contract with the change of temperature. Furthermore, the second types of application is barometer that are used to measure the atmospheric pressure. And mercury will help predict whether the change and generally used in meteorology, altitude measurement, and the scientific research. So, why mercury used in both application? It is because it having a high accuracy, visible and stable liquid metal, high density and low vapor pressure. Its meaning does not easily evaporate and affect the reading. Why modify? Nowadays, mercury give a lot of effect to user, so we need to discuss more deeper why we need to improve or change other material to replace mercury. From this slide, it shows that others reason why we need to modify the mercury. Mercury carried with some or others material which is aluminium. It can form an amalgam that disrupt the protective oxide layer on the aluminium surface. This layer actually normally prevent the metal from corrode, but once it's damaged, the aluminium rapidly corrode, which is extremely dangerous in the structural or sensitive environments. The second reason is mercury is very difficult to clean and high cost to handle. Mercury require a special storage and handling, also disposal procedure to prevent contamination. This increase operational costs and safety concern in labs and industry. And the third reason why we need to modify mercury, because mercury cannot measure to extreme low temperature. So when mercury freeze, it can no longer expand or contract in response to the temperature changes, that making the impossible for a mercury thermometer to function that below this point. The last one is mercury is persistent pollutant, means it stay in the environment for a long time. So once it's released, it can accumulate in the food chain, particularly in the fish, posing a risk to human health through a consumption. So mercury also contaminates soil and water, that making it difficult to remove. New material in Galinstan alloys. Galinstan is specific composition of eutectic alloy that made up with three mixture of element, which is gallium, indium, and tin. It remains liquid at room temperature with a melting point around -19 Celsius. Thus, Galinstan was developed as a safe alternative to mercury. Galinstan is the one of the material that can replace mercury in thermometer and barometer. So next is advantages of Galinstan alloy. First is reuse and recycle. Galinstan does not break down easily, so it can be used multiple times without losing the properties. And it also recycle, making it environmental friendly and cost effective in the long run. Second is good thermal and electrical conductivity, which is Galinstan is a great conductor of heat and electricity, which make it useful in electronics, sensor and cooling system. And the third is Galinstan is no hazardous vapor, because there are not released toxic vapors into the air, that making it safer to handle and more suitable for use in the environment where health and safety are concerns. And the last one is Galinstan is stable and durable. It remains chemically stable over a time and does not react easily with other substance. This makes a Galinstan long-lasting and reliable for repeated use, that even in sensitive application. Why Galinstan is more preferable than mercury? So when make a comparison based on the toxicity, we know that the Galinstan is non-toxic because it does not release any dangerous vapor compared to mercury. Mercury will release the vapor, and the important thing is the vapor will be dangerous to those who smell. Next, by comparing with environmental impact, Galinstan also give a positive side, which is the material is very eco-friendly when spilled or disposed, while mercury will give a result of pollution because it can harm and give a contamination in water sources, soil or else. As we know, Galinstan is easy to dispose because it's not using any special treatment and not use highest cost. It hit different than mercury because mercury need a special disposal and have a limitation while using in a new era. Lastly, while using the instrument, Galinstan are the new material that can replace mercury in the thermometer or barometer. And it will be said that a Galinstan is a modern material used while mercury are traditional. So the last one is expected impact. So based on the performance, Galinstan give a good and best performance such as high thermal conductivity and fast response. Nowadays, mercury are not to be chosen. It is because it heavily regulated of toxicity and vapor danger, while Galinstan are more safety and low toxicity. So while referring on the cost, Galinstan is much more expensive, even though Galinstan is a good material, but the sources that contain the special material a bit harder to find. In summary, even though Galinstan is a better, most modern application due to non-toxicity and safety, but mercury offers slightly better electrical and thermal performance, but highly toxic and environmental hazard.